Hello and good afternoon. I hope you had a lovely lunch and back with renewed energy. So we've got the wonderful task of talking about digital out of home and the omni-channel experience. I remember a few years ago I was at a conference and Mr. Decor then had mentioned that everything will be digital in future. You will have a personalized one-to-one like on your mobile, and you will have one-to-many like broadcast, which is what we are in out of home. So with that as a basic background, I think perhaps we could go to the techie in our group. So first up, a big thank you to Exchange for Media for putting this wonderful panel together. I mean, you guys have done an incredible job. I think we're all quite diverse in our expertise. So we've got a techie, we've got an agency expert, we've got both, and we've got both. So, yeah, Magesh, if you could just tell us a little bit, if you could define what the omni-channel experience is and the role that out-of-home can play in it.
Before I kickstart with what exactly omnichannel marketing is all about, I would like to bring to your notice a few numbers. I was doing a data crunching a while ago. So 1 in 3 in-store shopping happens after visiting online first, and 1 in 4 online purchases happen after visiting the store. So the essence is the experiences that are delivered across the online and offline channels needs to be the same. So omnichannel marketing as such is a very broad context, but in brief, it is a continuous process of seamless integration of online and offline media channels that are spread across the top, middle, and the bottom funnels of the consumer journey. That culminates into a seamless, unified experience. So, at the core, the output that is expected is to establish a deeper, a meaningful relationship and an experience for the end consumers. Data, content, and technology are the 3 key drivers for shaping up the entire omnichannel marketing ecosystem. So there are enough and abundant of data sources that gives you a single view, a 360-degree view of a consumer from a location-based perspective, from behavior, interests, and so on. And there is a layer of first-party data also attached to it. And that is a kind of a start point wherein you start integrating the media channels, the insights into the media channels. You have a technology stack that enables the transfer of experiences across the channels. And then there is content which has to be uniform irrespective, it is media agnostic. If I have to give an example, in the digital ecosystem, because primarily we've seen it more there, I happen to scroll through the Insta feed. I come through an ad, an apparel brand ad, for example, and I go in, I click on the ad, I add a few items into my cart. And there is an instance of cart abandonment that happens for some reason. The beauty of omnichannel marketing kicks in here. Right? I am not targeted again on the same platform, probably not. The wisest thing to do is, but I would get a notification of the same brand on the app that I have native on my phone, saying that you abandoned this cart, here's a drop that has happened. Or probably I would get a customized WhatsApp message, right? So the communication, the stage at which I am remains constant irrespective of the channels. From an out-of-home perspective, omnichannel plays a very different role. The most classic example and the proven and scalable thing is, for example, a real estate brand, they've coming up with a project, they've picked up a few out-of-home inventories. Out-of-home plays an important role that caters to the intrigueness of the audience. I want to know more about this project. And ultimately, I go on a platform, which is, we are all familiar, Google, and I search about that brand or a product. Now the integration here happens in a manner, the performance team in the background has already placed their bids for the keywords and the products that are exactly used in the out-of-home creative. So for example, on the out-of-home creative, there is a Google search bar saying Kia Seltos, right? So I go onto the Google search and I type the same. However, this aspect is intangible in terms of attributing, but it can be converted into a tangible attribution with the help of marketing mix models.
Thank you so much for that. Over to you now, Dinesh. What we've seen is that the majority of ad spends has now moved towards digital. Can DOOH be regarded as part of the digital ecosystem? Can we expect to tap into that media pie? And what would we bring to the table to enhance that omni-channel experience? Just keeping it simple for you.
You have pressed the pain button wherein everybody, I think so, outdoor has got affected very badly whenever, from the moment digital have started utilizing outdoor budget. Because what happens is, at the end of the day, whenever you are in the planning stage or a client is working on a budget, and if there is a shortage of budget or they want to do something extra, or they want to do something in digital, the first thing or the first budget is get chopped out is the outdoor budget. So it's a pain point, that's the reason I said. But I would say every media is unique because of digital. What has happened is people have put a blinder on the outdoor advertising itself, which I would say is wrong, because at the end of the day, no matter what it is, I proudly say, if anything needs to get launched, they would require an outdoor support. Okay, so that's simple. Means we don't need digital support to promote any media. Say, for example, like Junaid Bhai's site, we don't have to promote on digital. Whereas any launch can happen on Junaid Bhai's site. So that's the best USP what we have it. That's one thing. Second, let me put it in this manner. With the introduction of DOOH, I would say it is a complementary that that has done to the static OOH. It's a need of an hour. It's a modern need which is building up. I would say it has lifted up the benchmark of the outdoor industry, because there is a technology which has come in. People are not only saying कि यार इस पे तो सिर्फ cutout और jutout लगता था. We are talking beyond that. So that is again a second biggest advantage. Most importantly, see, it's very important. A pie, what you said, get cuts, or a pie, how we can get it back. Important parameter is that what is the marketing objective and how that marketing objective is gonna get fulfilled. That's the core. If suppose that marketing objective is gonna fulfilled by various mix of all the channel, every pie is gonna be there at their place. And with the introduction of DOH and a lot of technology which is coming up, with a lot of interaction which is going on, okay, a lot of 3D, anamorphic, everything, innovation is going on. I'm 100% sure the budget is going to come back to OH, and this medium is again going to get its own weightage.
Yeah, Rajnish, because he's gone from the agency side to the media ownership side, so that's going to be an interesting perspective.
I would like to just, add on this. Nowadays, we are also seeing that most of the brands, they are, giving the brief to the agencies, saying that we just need in this outdoor campaign only outdoor, digital media. They don't want, static ones. So that change is now coming in. So it's not only the digital on the social media where the clients are investing. Clients have also started investing in outdoor digital media. I've seen so many campaigns in Mumbai from agencies where they say कि sir ये वाले campaign में खाली digital hoardings ही डालनी है purely, we don't want static hoarding. I think this is a great shift, and just to answer your question, that is digital media taking away the spends for outdoors. I don't care even if it is taking. Why? Because we are increasing the pie. Outdoor itself has now increased its pie of the entire advertising spends by adding digital for that, and Mumbai being the city where the entire evolution has started. So that's a great move by the entire municipal corporation of Mumbai for that. So it doesn't matter even if digital goes for that.
Alok, anything for you to add there?
Yeah, a lot of things to add actually, and I'd like to subtract also from the others, because I personally think that outdoors budgets haven't gone down. Some clients might have left outdoor, but there are a lot of new clients which have come on board and actually increased the overall pie. Talking about shift from a digital budget to a digital out-of-home budget, as a media owner, the more the merrier. We'd like to have best of both the worlds. The good thing about DOOH is in future, currently also we're looking at DOOH as a possible POS model for a lot of impulse categories. I mean, if you're half an hour away from your home, you see a digital out of home on your way, click on QR code, download, order something. As soon as you're reaching home, it's already there. That is if those apps are not already in your phone. So in future, I personally feel that DOOH as a possible point of sale for a lot of clients is going to come up.
Yes, so worldwide we've also seen that there's been a huge uptick in digital attribution once it's been combined with digital out of home, and so we're all really hopeful that this initiative by Mumbai will actually catch on in the rest of the country. So what do you think as an industry we should be doing to get the brand managers to effectively integrate our medium into the ad spends?
See, it's very important now with digital OH coming, and we are talking about a lot of metrics and all. It's very important that we, along with the brand manager, make them understand a few good quality points of DOH in terms of what can be done, how it can be measured, what ideas can be implemented, what is the new technology which is coming into it, and how it can be utilized along with the static one also. So there are a lot of parameters to it which it's very important for the brand managers to understand, to explore the possibility. Once they are aware about it, once they get educated on that, 101% there is a possibility that things are going to work for us.
I'll just give one solution according to my experience. You want to increase the pie of digital through brand managers, please take them on ground. Because most of the brand managers, they do whatever, sitting in their own, offices. If they need to add on more outdoor, digital in their, media planning, they need to go on ground and see the, effectiveness of, digital outdoors.
I'll just add on to Rajiv thing. See, it's also very important when we are talking to the brand managers, we are not only talking in terms of just selling the media. It's very important what we are talking in terms of providing a solution to them. And the best solution to provide to any brand manager is from a creative angle. What the creative needs to be, what the creative needs to talk, how the creative is going to create an impression. That is all outdoor is all about. If that is, you are able to, boil down with the brand manager, make him understand how it works, I'm sure we are there.
Lovely. Now that we've spoken so much of digital, there's another D word which we've been discussing in out of home for about 25 or 30 years, and that's data. What audience measurement metric are you using? When can we get the common currency on board? And if you haven't heard of Roadstar, I'll tell you about it after you answer the next question.
See, common currency always give a weightage to any, even if we talk on an India level, common currency is rupee, it gives a weightage. Same way with an agency, if there is a common metrics, it will give a weightage. Definitely every agency have their own way of working. Definitely there is every agency who have their own parameters, own software which they try to develop to work it out. And we too are working with Roadstar on that. And I'm sure there would be a lot of smooth path which will be working out with you all.
Lovely. Alok, let's put you on the hot seat.
Ideally, we'd like to work with Roadstar and other platforms which offer any kind of audience measurement. We tried some models in the past, but they couldn't work out because the data was incorrect. But in near future, if there is something which is near to the actual data, so to say, we are more than hopeful, because at the end of the day, it will increase our yields. That's what we think. So, good.
How about you, Rajneesh?
Yes, I always believe that if it can be measured, it can be improved. So now it's the time. It's been so many years the industry has been talking about bringing in a data. It could be independent or it could be uniform data. So now the assets are already on ground. The digital is already being placed across the cities. Now if we don't get into a singular data source, so slow and steadily even this digital will start fading for that. So now it's a
need of the hour. We have to
implement this thing for them.
So
just to
yeah, sure.
just to add on to this, what is of utmost critical point is democratization of data should happen, right? So the accessibility, the availability of the data should be there for everyone. In the sense, be it the data on the media inventory, how much is there, where is it there, irrespective of the media owners, the publishers. From the measurement data collection, there are multiple gratified sources of data that culminates into some meaningful insights that can be driven. And the integration of this across the platform at an association level would really push things to drive at scale.
Yes. So on that subject, because you are the techie, so you need to help us through this one. We hear a lot about mobile retargeting. So what is mobile retargeting? And how do we get this physical world and the virtual world to kind of interact with each other?
So, as I've said, there is enough and abundant data sources, right? There are a lot of SSPs and DSPs platforms, which initially started as an ad network, then a DSP platform and an SSP platform. And they've integrated kind of...
Just, if you could just explain SSP, DSP and...
for that.
Yeah.
So, so there is a demand side platform wherein you have all the advertisers bidding for the audiences. And there is an SSP side platform on the other side that is plugged onto all the publishers. So the entire network is called as an ad network. So for any advertiser to bid on an audience, they should know about the audience. And that information, that data is provided by the SSP platforms. So this ad networks has a pool of device IDs, which also has a location information entangled along with it, subject to privacy and GDPR compliance, of course. From out-of-home perspective, mobile retargeting, how it works is in a vicinity of out-of-home assets, you can create cohort of all these device IDs and push them on the similar DSP platforms where you can find those audiences and target them. So again, I would say an intangible way to bridge the gap between online and offline, but it's a start. And I firmly believe that this start will take us to a tangible stage wherein it is very much attributable like it happens in Facebook, plus 7 days is the attribution, right? So that's one. But I believe that apart from mobile retargeting, there are a lot of omni-channel possibilities in out-of-home. So one of which is appealing content, right? So you have anamorphics, you have computer graphic CGIs that you have right now. This creates a lot of enticing content that goes on to the social media, again, speaking huge volumes about the brand. And AR can take your physical experience into a very different virtual zone experience for the same brands, again, trying to bridge the gap. So yeah, and lastly, I would like to end this point with something called as a metaverse or an omniverse. So that is one zone where we believe digital OH potential would certainly accentuate. So we have gaming platforms. You have virtual, real world, virtual environments inside. You can have out-of-home asset inside a gaming app, right? So you can have those connected with the digital out-of-home platforms. And that's how you can get this omni-channel targeting across digital out-of-home and virtual.
Wow. So what we need to do is get all our screens onto a supply-side network. We already have the demand side well connected. And if we have a data management platform in the middle that informs both what the audience is, then we should be alive and kicking, right? What do you think about that, Rajneesh? Yeah, Alok? All right, so I'm just going to shoot out an email to the IOAA president. We've completely got this sorted. Okay, Junaid? Okay, and this is to all of you, if you could do any three things at an industry level to make DOOH part of the omni-channel experience, what would that be?
For me, three things would be, the first thing is the most important thing I always believed is to invest in good talent. This industry now and to sell digital, we need good talent. So that's the first investment the industry has to make now. It's not only on the part of the agencies to bring in good and educated talent. It's also on the part of the asset management companies. They also need to now bring in good talent so that they can go to the agencies and sell them the way digital has to be sold for that. So that's point number one. Second, as an industry, we need to invest in technology, without which the entire momentum will not happen. So that's where the asset management companies come into the picture. So they need to invest in technology. And the third is the hardware. The hardware of investing and putting in that capital at the start of the business. It's quite tough, but yes, a lot of asset management companies are investing into hardware. So I think if these three things are taken care of by both the sides of the businesses, which is the agencies and the asset management companies, I think digital and the entire industry will be quite good enough for that.
Super, thank you. Alok?
Yeah, my humble suggestions would be, I think, see, as media owners, we have certain responsibility towards out-of-home as an industry and DOOH, the new baby that has been given birth to. So we are not a sexy industry, and we have to accept that. I think to begin with, we need to go to colleges, we need to go to universities, we need to educate them and hire from top-rung colleges, get on board for our out-of-home agencies, for media owners, so that at least we add some chutzpah to this, overall ecosystem. The second thing, and the previous session also talked about it, I'd love to someday fund a creative out-of-home agency to begin with. I mean, if there is any idea for a creative, specifically out-of-home creative agency, game on for it. We need to promote such talent because we are one of the most impactful mediums and we are one of the most underutilized mediums. And the third one, I think if we do the first two, it's more than enough.
I'm not sure if there's an investment possibility on ideas, but there is an idea cafe that's out there. I believe they completed 1 year. Well done, Nabindu.
We need hundreds of idea cafes, and I think Nabindu sir would agree to that. So yeah.
Yeah.
Even most of the agencies today, they have started investing in creative people who are working on digital platform as such for that.
I completely agree with what has been told. There are three things what I would put my coin on is. Number one, an important parameter is the thought process, okay? An outdoor creative is definitely a different creative in comparison to others. So it's very important that a creative has been designed from an outdoor angle point of view. That's one thing. Secondly, it's also very important, we are talking about DOOH, that's a new segment, but we need to work it out as a complement to OOH. So it needs to go in hand in gloves along with the static media so that, it carries away in a very systematic manner so that outdoor as an industry comes up. That's the other thing. Third and foremost important, as said, it's very important, when we are talking about DOOH, beside the creative angle, anamorphic and all, it also start getting into interaction on a more higher level. So an upgradation, an interaction or exploring more parameter to it will definitely help this industry grow.
almost all of the pointers are covered by all the panelists here. And since you've named me a techie wizard, I'll like to answer that from that perspective. If at all there is a possibility that we scale digital out of home, wherein there is also a possibility that any layman who is sitting on any DSP platform, like you have a Facebook ads account, right? You can run Facebook, Insta, digital out of home, and the normal digital campaigns all together. That's how the digital out of home pie is going to gradually increase, and it's going to come into the consideration set. In order to accentuate the capability of digital out of home, we also need to introspect of how we can integrate generative AI into digital out of home. So Facebook has a lot of AI-based algorithms that keeps on suggesting, these are the 15 set of text, primary text that you can go ahead with, and you can get your CPR less by 20%. So I believe something like this can also be possible from out-of-home perspective.
Once again, can you please explain this? Generative AI just went.
So I'm so sorry to sound so technical about it, but when you run an ad on Facebook, you give a primary text copy and you give a headline, right? So that is what you get from the client, and you publish it. So while you run the campaign, Facebook goes into learning stage, right? They understand the audience, what are they liking and what are they not liking. And basis that, basis the number of clicks that has happened, they will suggest that these are the other different types of copies that you can go ahead with in order to catch the attention and increase the number of clicks. So in a similar manner, we also need to do something called as a dynamic creative optimization, that these are the possible combinations of artworks that can go ahead, and once you measure which one is working effectively, you take that into the sustenance phase. So that's the overall idea.
Wow. So that's 2 points. You giving me a third?
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
You mentioned 2 points. Are you coming up with a third?
No, I mentioned Gen AI one, and one is scalable in terms of digital out-of-home campaigns and the digital campaigns running both at the same time.
Great. And now the tough one, which I think I'm going to open to the floor. Junaid, who do you think should implement these? What do you think, Navindu? Yeah, please, Junaid, come.
Everything that he was speaking about are very similar to each other. Because the function of a computer is very similar. What you feed in is what comes out. So just making, SSPs, DSPs, and DCO, and all of this, I've studied it extensively, and they're not very complicated. What needs to change is the acceptance to learn it in our industry. The thing with tech is that with the traditional, you say the last generation, when you say this can happen and this how it should be done, they're like, oh, I will never get it. So that mentality has to change. That evolution, the acceptance, the belief, and that anybody can do it, anybody can learn it. And today with AI and, with so many tools are only made to make life easy for people. That's something that we all need to understand as an outdoorian, that all of this technology is available for us to learn. And the best part about technology is it's all available online. You don't need to go to a school. You can study it online, you can create apps online, you can code online, you can learn A to Z online. So this is my, this is my challenge that I face in my own organization, is the acceptance and the adaptability and the willingness to kind of say, okay, yes, I'm willing to open up to it, you know?
If you can pass the mic on to Jayesh, I'm putting you on the hot spot.
Well, what I feel it has to be a collaborative effort, like how Navindu said. As far as the DSP and SSP side of the platform is concerned, we already have a fantastic thing like Lemma, which is already there in place. There is a DV360, which is already in place, and people are placing ads through that, and audience buying is happening. It's just that unlike any other media, our own media is very, very fragmented. Fortunately or unfortunately, we are not dealing with the big corporates here. There are a lot of proprietary firms which are involved in that. And there is a lot of sense of insecurity with the media owners, which is lying that when I give my things on an SSP platform, will my rates will be covered? Will it be, tomorrow if they starting it, selling it at a lesser cost? So all that insecurity which is there inside, right now Facebook and Google doesn't have that kind of an insecurity. They are openly, publishing their inventory, and one go and straight away buys it. One has to bid for that. So bidding it goes up as well, it goes down as well, depending on the kind of audiences what you are buying. So this is definitely going to be the future. In next 5 years down the line, I don't think so the outdoor is going to work the way we are doing it as far as digital out of home is concerned.
Everyone agrees? It all needs to be done together? Wonderful. I have a last point, and it's an interesting one. We at Out of Home, we are at about 4% of the media pie. How do we get to 10%? Are we doing enough together as an industry to push ourselves forward? And if not, what should we be doing in order to get up to that 10% mark? We'll go with you first, Rajneesh.
I can't just say, from 4 to 10, there is no such, formula as such. But yes, the entire pie has to increase. So even if you go from 4 to 6 also, but if the pie is 3 times, okay, still we'll have a, better, contribution to, out of home for that. So, digital out of home has added and it has increased the pie. So I would always say that let's focus on having more and more, digital out of home screens across, different kind of medias, so that there are more options. We can, synchronize it and give a, better out of home solution to the client. So that's how the entire, pie will increase, and the first preference will be given to, digital out of home.
You, Alok?
So I have a very contrary take on this, Jahan. First things first, with due respect to all the data crunchers and the people who have put this 4% tag on the out-of-home industry, we are a 10% part of the overall media mix. And there are numbers. Those numbers are not registered, not taken together. So either that 6,000 crore that is missing, it is of 1 lakh crore, 1 lakh 6,000 crore, or we are 10,000 of 1 lakh crore. But we are a 10,000 crore industry. There's no denying that fact. First things first. Now the question comes at how can we move from a 10K to a 15K? That's more important. And that will gradually happen in 2-3 years because, during the day the discussions were happening. I saw Jayesh Bhai's pitch on the new media opportunities which are coming up in tier 2, tier 3 in the transit mediums. That 10 to 15K has to happen in 2-3 crores because of the number of exponential opportunities in DOOH or OOH space. The thing is, how do we ensure that the clients who have left out of home as a media, how can they come back? I think that is one of the most pressing questions that we should ask ourselves. And for that, I can go on and on. There are a lot of things that can be covered, but we are trying to solve that on our own. And as an industry, we have to look at a lot of practices which can be improved so that those clients can come back. And one of the best things we can do and not talking to brand managers, I'm talking to the CXO levels, is to de-link yourself from the procurement guys. I mean, that's the worst thing to happen to this industry. Out-of-home impact has been killed by the procurement teams of the clients. We are an impact medium. We are not a sales medium. We are not a performance marketing medium. Let out-of-home be for impact.
Interesting. So, you reckon that as an industry, if we were to approach some of the larger advertisers who've stopped advertising in our medium, we address their concerns. I would assume audience measurement, third-party monitoring. In that case, we'd probably be able to bring them back in. Yes, Dinesh.
See, when we are talking about 4 to 10% jump, okay, and the effort what we are putting, I would say we all are somewhere down the line putting our own efforts to, work towards the best or bring the best to the table. Now, important parameter is let's not focus on 4 to 10%. Let's focus on the quality. Let's focus on the upgradation. Let's focus on the technology. Let's focus on what exactly we want to bring it out so that it gets attracted. There's a famous line in Hindi which we all outdoor guys use, जो दिखता है वो बिकता है और बड़ा पर्दा भारी है. So if suppose वो दिखने वाली चीज़ अगर quality है तो वो बिकेगा भी. Just let's focus on that. Numbers will automatically increase. Because the more you are going to get focused towards number, somewhere down the line, your whole attention is going to go on a different side. So I believe let's focus on the quality, let's focus on thoughts, let's focus on ideas, let's focus what we can bring on the table that enhances the overall industry on a different level altogether. So that we do not have that question कि मेरा पाई ये खा गया और मैं अब किसका पाई खाऊंगा.
Hello. Yeah. I believe from 4 to 6 is not a challenge because it will itself come by inflation. Right? So the question arises, how do we just not project the year-on-year increase, keeping inflation aside? Because that's the fact. That's been happening. Right? So we need to get away from the mindset of commoditizing out-of-home. It is like Alok said, the procurement teams look at it as a commodity, right? You go to a brand and you do all fancy pitches and you talk about audiences, and finally it is relayed down to a person who will talk the language like per square feet per unit, and there is where you lose the battle. We need to educate the clients as well that there is going to be a trade-off between quality and the objective that you are going to achieve out of it. Lastly, I believe talent plays a huge role in taking the industry to a better place. And we as a community need to make sure we have the right kind of talent across tech, data science, and most importantly, content perspective. So that's my take on it.
Super. So I think one of the things that we really need to acknowledge is that is reality, and the procurement officer is reality. So I think our challenge then is to come up with the metrics which show that if you have a 140 feet by 140 feet site at Bandra, the impact that creates, and I think Ocean have done that extremely well in London. So if we start doing things similar here in India, we'd probably be able to, we'll be able to show on paper the enhanced impact of some superb out of home. So I've been given a slight glare saying that there's 1 minute and 30 seconds left. You need to wrap up. So audience questions. I actually switched it around. I asked the audience a few questions, but please go ahead.
Chuck, So if there is any audience question, we'd just like to queue in for that because we've had an engaging audience. If there is any, please do raise your hand. Otherwise, all right, there are quite a few. Only two, please. Starting with you, sir. Can we get the mic, please, pass to the gentleman? I'm glad our cameraman is helping us on that. So if you just switch on the mic, I can see it was off. Yeah,
so
perfect.
question to all of you.
All?
So
Maybe
let
one.
me, whoever want to pick the question. So if you take example from television as a media, so television media until Bark came in, and Bark only happened when 5 or 6, I strongly believe 5 or 6 publisher came. They didn't wait for 150 publisher will come and invest money, okay? So 5-6 people came in, they put in 100 crore each, and with 500-600 crore, they did a audience measurement, unified research. If you are talking about Roadstar and all of this, let me tell you this. If you pay peanuts, you will get monkeys. So I think it's the end of the day, it's the media owner who's investing so much of money into the business. And it is for their own reason. It is not 600 crore. It is some 20 crore if some 6 of you come together as a media owner and start doing with Nielsen and some of the best brands. I think that will be more, like Roadstar will be questioned again some days. Who has stamped it? Where is the media research user council? So all of that will happen. Just put together that money. I as agency specialist, I put my neck into it that I'll put in some money as well, okay, when I'm saying this. And that is when probably this answer the questions, number one. Number two, I agree with Alok, this is 10% industry size. So it is not about whichever agency, not meant to pitch Madison or Group M. Just to tell you that there are, or Nielsen, whatever they do the study. I think there are a lot of unregistered number, and those number never gets reflected. So let's not demean ourselves. We are already a 10% industry.
All right, I believe, thank you for sharing that thought, sir. We just quickly like to just go at the back to the gentleman, and then of course, if you'd like to recognize his thought, we'll allow you that opportunity as well. Sir, please keep it concise. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. At the outset, Zehan, my compliments to you for having a wonderful mix on the panel. There are media owners, there's agency on board, and of course, the technological side to it. Well, my question to you is, I'm sure Rajneesh Bhai and Alok Bhai would agree with me that there's a lot of sweat and blood that goes into putting up a DOH site altogether because of regulatory things and the limitations on the infrastructure availability. Yeah. So, but when we go to the client, there's always a question about, there's always a debate about static versus DOH. So, how do you think, Dinesh sir, how can agencies like Rappo or Madison, for that matter, can help us out in showcasing that value to the client and ensuring there's a fair adoption and a larger penetration among the brand managers? Yeah.
So when I was talking, I told you, I said before only, it's not only DOH which we need to concentrate, it is how DOH can complement the static. It's going to be a combination of both. Let's not look only at DOH. See, if you're going to look only at one side, the other side is going to go vacant. And then there is going to be a question mark now how to make things happen for you. So we need to work it out in such a manner. That's the reason when I'm talking about, we are talking about the marketing objective. Now, marketing objective can be of various things, okay? In terms of how we are tackling that particular, through various omnichannels, as he has explained. Now, here again, it's how we are projecting to the client what kind of a role a static is going to play, what kind of role a DOH is going to play. What ideas on DOH can be done, as there are a lot of creative changes which can happen. There's a lot of cost saving because of the creative changes what is going to happen. There's a lot of anamorphic thing which we do it. So it's a both. So we need to complement DOH. It's an upgraded one. You know, it's a modern technology. It's a modern era of OH industry. I hope I have answered your question.
I'd just like to add to it. So I think instead of going to an agency, with due respect to the agencies and selling the media, rather look at it from a marketing perspective rather than a sales perspective. You have to add value to the client at the end of the day. That's what agencies are doing. What if you find your own clientele in the niche areas of near to your DOH and you can go directly to the clients? For an agency, you are just a small pie in the overall scheme of things. And you know, when we are talking about agency is one of our clients. And that's why they say that it's a 4,000, 5,000 crore industry. Agencies are just 20 to 25% of the overall out-of-home mix. And everyone in the room knows that, but no one wishes to acknowledge. So, you know, move on, move to the client. They might route through agencies, it doesn't matter. By the way, I do work with a lot of agencies, so that's a disclaimer. Thanks.
Sure, thank you so much. And also, Jahan, would you like to comment on what Mr. Bhattacharya ji had spoken about from anything on the opinion, because I believe you wanted to say something that time?
Sure.
Yeah.
So, Dada, you mentioned when I asked how do we do this and who takes the lead, and you said it has to be collaborative. So, today morning we had a IOAA and a 3 years of I meeting on audience measurement. Why don't you come on board and we'll collaborate, because the audience measurement that we are doing has been recognized by World Out of Home, and it's actually been given as an example to all developing nations because of the robust methodology that we've followed. So look forward to interacting with you on that.
Thank you so much. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, let's give our esteemed panelists a big, big round of applause.
Thank you so much.